Hello, Internet. The Morgan You Know podcast network presents Balls Brew.
Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to the flagship sports podcast here on the Morgan You Know podcasting network. We talk about sports the same way you might with your buddies when you're sitting around having a few brews. Thus, the name of this podcast. My name is Rod Morgan. I'll serve as your affable host. Joining me, my right-hand man. He joins us on almost every podcast we have because, quite frankly, he has takes that come out of nowhere. I never know what he's going to say. That's why we love him. He's our old man. He's back in Indiana. It's Chris King.
I feel like we've gone back in time, Rod. It's like 2014.
It definitely is like 2014. We are recording this shortly after the Pacers have won a first-round series over the Milwaukee Bucks, securing their place in the conference semifinals. And I can think of no one better to celebrate that with us than the man who saw numerous Pacer games in person this year. He joined us earlier this year talking about basketball, so he's back for his return trip. It's Dax Storm. Dax, hello.
What's up? Good to be with you guys again. Thank you for having me.
So, let's just start there. Daxter, you're a Pacers fan. You went to a bunch of games this year. This team has a place in your heart. What are you feeling right now? They just won.
Well, it's it's good as a Pacers fan. It's the first time we've gotten a playoff victory or series victory since 2020, at least, and it's good. It's really nice that we've got there's a lot of spirit going on in the city. It's fun. You go out to grocery stores, people have Pacer shirts on. There's gold days where, people are like, oh, well, whatever. And you see people out wearing gold, like, oh, well, no kidding. Well, this is actually catching on. And it's fun. It's a fun time to be a basketball fan in the city of Indianapolis. So.
All right. Well, you were not on hand for the clinching game because prices on those go through the roof, but you were at the first home game the Pacers had in this series. Tell us a little bit about the in-game experience for you there. Game 3, right?
It was, game 3, first home game playoff for that series, and from what everybody saw on TNT tonight, as far as the home crowd very loud, it was just that and every bit more in person. It was very energetic, and it's amazing to see, like, going to the stadium. I first saw this. It was the home playoff. It was the play-in tournament against Boston that I went to, and that I felt the same electricity there, but more. Like, I haven't felt that at that. I know it was just playoff or play-in game, this and that. But it was still cool feeling the electricity in the building for that. And it was resurrected, for the playoff game. Like, hey, yes, it's nice to hear this in the city of Indianapolis. We grow basketball here and stuff. That's what they say, and it's, man, it's that game. It was electric. It was totally electric. I know that I hope that the second series, we have the same type of fan representation as the first. I know that Indianapolis is a big basketball city, but we're playing against maybe the Knicks or the Philly, which, hey, I guess the Philadelphia 76ers have been trying to get their fans to buy tickets and buying tickets from the ownerships, buying tickets and this and that. So that's kind of an interesting kind of take on things. And I don't know, you think about that as a small market city, and with the 76ers and the New York markets battling, and then tickets will come available for our market, and so you kind of wonder, well, how that will play out. And I don't know, like you said, tickets were kind of expensive because they got zapped up really quick, and that was just two small market teams. So I'm interested to see how the ticket, because I do follow ticket sales. I walk to games. I'm curious how those will go out, because I want to go to a second round game, but we'll just have to see how that goes with the next round opponent.
Yeah, we're seeing who the Pacers are going to deal with right there. It's going to happen on Monday. We know that. We don't know who the opponent is going to be. Maybe Philadelphia climbs up off the mat and forces a game 7. Who knows? That'll play out after the podcast. So we'll discuss that more in the future. Chris, I know you're nominally a Pacers fan as well. Do you have any thoughts here?
I really do think that this team has benefited from the fact that we had these type of games early in the year in the in-season tournament, especially some heated games against Milwaukee. I know Giannis didn't play, and that is a big deal, but we had that experience, and I think that played a big part. And I definitely think the crowd at these games is like an additional player for the Pacers right now.
I'm excited. I hope that we start seeing a few more Pacers ex luminaries rolling through and sitting courtside the way that we see the cavalcade of Nick stars. Right? Give me a Rick Smits. Give me a Detlef Shrimp. You know what I mean? Give me a Austin Crozier. Right?
Chuck
Dax, who else?
Person.
Yeah, who else?
McKee
Well, I
was
don't know.
there.
Chuck Person's kind of notorious
Derek
these
McKee
days for
was
his
there
stuff.
on Game 3. He got a standing ovation from the crowd. So D McKee, good for
Yeah,
showing
Derek
up.
McKee.
The Davis boys. Can we get the Davis boys? How about shout
Yeah.
out to Dale Antonio? How about those dudes?
Oh, they would be crowd favorites in a heartbeat.
They certainly would. All right, Chris, let's go to another team that was followed closely on this podcast that has also clinched their way into the second round of the playoffs. No matter how many naysayers want to try to jump all over Boston after they lost that game to Miami, Chris, they turned it around and looked pretty darn good to close out that series, didn't they?
Yeah, like, listen, Boston handled their business like they were supposed to. It is Miami. You got to figure Miami's going to find a way to win a couple games, and they only got one. So give it to Boston. And listen, what Boston has done this season is phenomenal. And what else should we expect from them right now?
Yeah, I mean, we're kind of bummed to see we're as if I'm on the team, but hey, that's how I go here. This is my squad, right? People ask me all the time. They say, Rod, you live in Indiana. How come you're a Boston Celtics fan? And I just look at them and I say, when I was 5 years old, their best player was a white boy from Indiana. All right. That's all it took. The Boston Celtics had my heart from that moment on. So I'm real excited, but Porzingis is down. That's troubling. I'm not worried about having Porzingis versus either Orlando or Cleveland. I also think those teams are going to beat the heck out of each other and play a 7-game series. So Boston's going to have even more time to wait. So I'm pumped. Dax, do you have any thoughts on the Celtics?
Man, I tell you what, they're kind of just a steam train just rolling on down the freight line there, son. They're just doing their own thing. If they can get everybody to play on a consistent, and everybody just shows up at different nights, so that's just kind of the thing. You never know who's going to play one night. It's Holiday one night, and then and then it's Jaylen Brown, and then Tatum has will have a couple nights, and so I think Porzingis not being in will definitely change how they play, but I don't know. I mean, we're getting into the second round of the playoffs now, so we're not playing the Atlanta Hawks or the certain teams. No offense to Atlanta Hawks fans out there, but
I mean, it could be Orlando. They're
yeah,
pretty close to Atlanta.
yeah, well, still, but yeah,
Take it
regardless,
easy
like,
on the Hawks too, by the way, Dax. We're big in Atlanta. All right, we're big down there. We got a lot of listeners.
I had a feeling, and I apologize to Peach.
Don't worry, Dax. It's mostly hate listeners. I'm not well liked in Atlanta. Let's just put it that way.
That's actually true.
Well,
We probably do get a whole lot of looky-loos just trying to figure out what's going on in the Morgan universe here, listening in from Atlanta. But God bless them for giving us the listens. We'll take them.
That's right. And I always holler out "Roll Tide" when I go through Georgia. But anyways, that's not the point. We're talking about a specific. And so but seriously, like, this is the second round. We're coming into the second round, so you're coming into more teams that have, like, they've won their first series. They've already shown, this is the next round. So you never know who could come up and play. I'm not saying anything against the Celtics. I'm just just like any team, going into it, these are not their, these guys are well conditioned and ready to play, and so we'll see how it goes, kind of deal. And I think the Celtics they're gonna go to the next, they're gonna go to the Eastern Conference Finals. I mean, no matter who they play, we'll see who wins. Pacers versus Philly, Knicks, and that'll be their opponent, and so
let me ask you a question, Rod. You are a Celtics fan, then we can move on to another series. Which team scares you more, Cleveland or Orlando?
It's got to be Cleveland because Cleveland has guys who can actually score, right? Darius Garland could shake the cobwebs off at any point and put up a 32-point game, right? Donovan Mitchell scored 40 and 50-point games in the playoffs before, you know what I mean? So also they got some size. I know that is a detriment to Cleveland on offense at times, but they got some beef and they can just beat Boston up a little bit. But that's all Orlando has is size that can beat Boston up. So I think I got to go Cleveland because I worry about how many points they could score in Orlando. Just even on a great night for them, they're going to be hard pressed to get 115 points.
I agree with that.
Let's go out west, Rod.
That's a good call, Chris. Let's move out to the Western Conference. We have probably the marquee matchup of the playoffs set already, staring us in the face. Round 2, book it. It's guaranteed. It's certified. It's the Minnesota Timberwolves versus the Denver Nuggets. And sure, Chris, I could talk about how the Lakers are out and Kevin Durant and the Phoenix Suns are out and Steph Curry is out and it's a new generation. But why not just talk about that new generation when we talk about this series, right? Anthony Edwards has arrived, Chris. Tom Crean has done it again. Another NBA prospect, coached up by our guy in college, sent on to the pros, and Anthony Edwards has arrived.
Right. Think you're not wrong. Think about some of the stars that are out there right now putting in real work for teams in the playoffs that Tom Crean recruited out of high school. So he is been he's made me a believer this year, Rod. He really has. I know he has shown these flashes of brilliance and glimpses in the past, but this year it has really come together. He is the entire package. He will play defense. He will score at will from anywhere on the court. He is phenomenal. And he is going to be a beast for Denver to try to figure out how to guard.
Dax, he will tell you all about it as well. He will play to the crowd. He is exciting to watch. I mean, is Anthony Edwards your favorite thing in this playoffs outside of the Pacers?
He is up there. I'll tell you what. Shea Gilgeous-Alexander is doing amazing things in Oklahoma, and Chet
Yeah, he is.
and all the boys too. So, but we're talking like 1A and 1B. Like it's. But sir, that was not. Those were my two Western favorites going into this was the Thunder and the Timberwolves. Man, I mean they're playing the best basketball. They've got youth. I know we're talking about experience in the Nuggets and some of the other Western Conference teams.
Can they beat the Nuggets though, Dax? That's a real question. Can they beat the Nuggets?
Yes, they can. They have a winning record over them over the season, so that's been.
They split their series 2-2.
Chris is such a Nuggets truther, Dax.
There it
it's
is.
Okay.
Well, I mean,
they each split their home games. So like the Nuggets were 1-1 at home. So the Timberwolves are one of the few teams that actually beat Denver at home this year.
Yeah, so that's kind of what's going on. I remember watching that game amongst the things going on at the house, and everybody has the NBA game on as they're doing things and chasing children around the house, and like, oh, did the Timberwolves just beat the Nuggets at home, kind of thing, and yeah, for sure. No, they're on my top of the Western teams. The Thunder, we're talking about a lot of young teams right now, with, we mentioned the Pacers earlier, but yeah, these two Western teams that everybody's talking about. But hey, don't sell the Nuggets short. Everybody's talking about all the newest and hottest, the new boutique stuff around the block. We got some teams that have been proving it for years. So don't count the Nuggets out. So that's a good
call. Dax, listen, there's some experience on the block. We didn't mention this in the East, but if the Celtics make the Eastern Conference Finals again this year, it would be 7 out of the last 12 years. I mean, it's insane. It's just insane.
Agree on that 100%. Going back to the East, talking about experience and playoff experience, and been there and know how to play, because that is a difficult time to play. Not that I have experience.
That's a great stat, Rod. But how many coaches have you had in that span?
Well, I know, but we still had Brad Stevens sort of at the helm, right? Brad Stevens just won Executive of the Year now, running the team as president. He was coach for a lot of those years, right? We've at least had Brad Stevens around. You know what I mean? Tatum and Brown have been around. There's a thread here, Chris. There's a thread. Horford was around for a while, then left, came back, But we're not talking about the Celtics. Here's what I want to say. It's going to be such a heavyweight battle between the Wolves and the Nuggets. I'm feeling a 7-game series. You could tell me either team wins, and I wouldn't be surprised. But what that then means, Chris, is Dallas, who I'm just going to go ahead and call it right now, Dallas, because the Clippers basically seemed like they gave up last night.
They're going to Galveston.
Yeah, there you go. What a putrid performance by them. So Dallas and OKC are going to be sitting there, maybe look at a team that absolutely had to go through a war in the Western Conference Finals. Dax has been shouting out OKC. Chris, I shouted out the Mavericks ahead of time. Do you think this series ultimately will take too much out of one of these teams and they might not make the finals?
I think as long as no one suffers an injury, either team is going to be fine.
Do you think Minnesota has now helped that the injury actually happened to their coach, not one of their players?
Hey, you got to take victories where you can find them, and if that's what you have to do as a coach for your team, then yeah, you'll do that, right?
Absolutely. Daxter, I want to ask you one other thing here before we get ready to wrap this up. You know that I have said many, many things about Kyrie Irving, many of them warranted based on his past behavior, but man, I got to eat my words this year on Kyrie. Are you impressed by what him and the Mavericks are doing out there in the West?
I'll tell you what. Well, I tell you who is more happy than anyone else is probably the Dallas Mavericks organization for getting rid of Jalen Brunson and like somehow pulling in Kyrie to fill in the gap, and he has actually worked out better than they probably could have ever hoped. Um, wow, yeah. Wait, I mean, you think he's still a young man, but he's still old in the league, and man, what a compliment to Luka. What else do you want right now? And they've got a great combination too with the trades they made at the deadline. With Lively and it's the kid, the Daniel Gifford, I think his name, the kid from Washington they traded for. The big guy, and they've got a lot. They've got a lot going for them. I think that they can really stir up some things. I still think that either the Thunder, it's going to be either Thunder, Nuggets, Wolves. One of those three are going to come up at the top, and I still think that I don't know. I think Wolves are going to come up the cream.
Nice. There you go. Look at that. Shout out Anthony Edwards and his squad. The Rudy Gobert trade, Chris. We all mocked and scorned the Timberwolves after the Rudy Gobert trade. Could they be the
Boy,
ones laughing in the bank?
I mean, it's looking good right now, isn't it?
Yeah. They got Mike Conley back in a separate deal. Let's not forget that. That's something that actually helped their squad an awful lot, too.
That's true too. I mean, I will tell you one thing: Mike Conley is one of those crafty veterans type veterans. The vet that a veteran loves to play with. Like that guy just runs that team.
Let's also not
Perfectly.
forget this. The Lakers essentially chose D'Angelo Russell over Mike Conley, right? The Lakers essentially were like, no, you guys go ahead and ship Mike Conley up to Minnesota. We'll take D'Lo.
Yeah, I mean, okay. Do you really want like two geriatrics on your team, Rod?
But listen, I think Mike Conley would have helped the Lakers an awful lot, right? Steady
Yeah,
hand like him.
It's a Hoosier.
Yeah, exactly. See, we're shouting out Hoosiers here, Chris. I'm surprised you took a swipe at him.
He played for Ohio State.
Look
Yeah,
out. See, you're so petty. You're just so petty. Daxter, I got to ask you one thing before we let you go, because this is also coming out days before the 150th running of the Kentucky Derby. You and I, my friend, will be placing bets on the races before the Kentucky Derby. But I'm asking you now for the Morgan universe. Who's your pick to win Saturday's Run for the Roses?
Well, I'll tell you what, buddy. There is a lot of speculation. Who's going to do what? Who's going to do this and that? You've got Japanese horses coming in. You've got what is it? I think Forever Young is coming from Japan. Running a lot of getting a lot of as far as like random back bets as far as but I don't know, what is it, Fierceness right now. I think Fierceness is catching the most heat as far as even though it has kind of an outside post, people are calling for Fierceness. I don't know, I like
That's Todd Fletcher, right?
Yeah.
Maybe I'm not exactly sure. Todd Fletcher.
Pletcher. You mean Pletcher. He means Pletcher. It's the trainer of the horse. He's right.
Yeah, for sure.
Velasquez,
Yeah.
3-time Derby winners on the mount. Like, it's definitely the favorite for a reason. Coming out of the 17, which you said, Dax, out on the outside. Nobody's ever won from the 17.
Exactly. And so I don't know. I think Just the Touch and Fierceness are going to be the ones to watch. I think.
All right, but now you haven't given a pick, Dax.
Just a touch to win.
Just a touch to win. There we go. All right, we have it. Thank you so much, Dax, for coming on and chopping some NBA playoffs up with us, my friend. Maybe we'll have you back on here as we get closer to the finals. And certainly, if the Pacers keep winning, you're our number one Pacers representative.
I appreciate it. Thanks for having me, guys. I'll talk to y'all soon.
All right, everybody here on the podcast, stick around. We are bringing back our football handicapper, Josh Williams. He's going to give us some thoughts on the draft. Chris and I are going to talk with him on the other side of a break here, and we are going to talk to you about Whispering Pines Golf Course, located in wonderful St. Joe County near Walkerton up here in northern Indiana. It is a public municipal golf course, okay? Johnny and the crew out there keep it nice, and they strive for everyone to have the opportunity to play golf. That's why they have such affordable prices for both cart and green fees. During the week, you can play 18 holes, 2 golfers with a cart, and it's just $20 each. You can call the Pines up at 574-656-3295. Chris, I know you are looking forward to coming over here and playing the Pines with us sometime soon. What are you looking forward to when you come play the Pines?
Oh, I want to get a full 18, maybe even 36, Rod. I'm gonna get there early, and then I'll stop after my morning round, have a nice lunch, late lunch in the clubhouse. They have a real nice restaurant. It's good for the whole family, Rod. Make a day of
Absolutely.
it.
Life is better at the Pines. And tell Johnny and the crew that you heard about it here on the podcast. We would appreciate it. All right, we are back. There is an old Peaches and Herb song that comes to mind right now, Reunited, and it feels so good, except we're not quite reunited because we're minus our guy, Jimmy Jamriska. But football is just around the corner. And you know how I know that? Because the NFL draft just happened. So if we are going to talk a little bit about what occurred in the draft, we got to bring back our football handicapper. He's been off for a couple of weeks since March Madness. He's chomping at the bit to get back on the pod and give us some draft nuggets. It's our guy, Josh Williams.
What's up, boys? How about them Bears? Yeah.
It was
actually
good day for your Bears no matter what, but tell us why it was even a better day.
Yeah, we weren't sure if we were going to get Roma Dunze at 9. Thought maybe the Jets could trade up and snake him from us, but man, he's just got so much potential. Add him with all the weapons that the Bears already got in free agency, and it's finally looking. I told somebody on this pod a while ago the Bears were allowed to have nice things, and by gosh, the Bears might have some nice things next year.
Number 1 overall pick was Caleb Williams, quarterback. Keep that in mind because that was very important as we moved on. Chris, were you surprised more by how many quarterbacks went in the top 12 picks, or were you surprised at where one particular quarterback went to? Which surprises you more?
I actually think that there were so many that went so early. I really thought there were other weapons out there that those teams maybe needed more so than another quarterback, but I'm not an NFL general manager, so what do I know?
I would tend to agree with you, but I'm going to do my best quarterbacking here. All right. From my armchair. We're not doing Rod Damnation this week because we didn't run the fast break. So I'm going to kind of break out a semi Rod Damnation here for the NFL draft, Mr. Williams, if you will allow me, and then we'll go over to you for your expertise. You could fill in any gaps here, but Atlanta Falcons, welcome to Rod Damnation. All right. I have absolutely zero idea what you are doing. There are 4 to 5 possible explanations, and none of them are good. All right. None of them are good. You were scouting Michael Penix the entire time before free agency. Apparently, you'd met with him, fell in love with him, which is the first thing you never do in an NFL draft prospect. You never fall in love with any of them. It's got to be stone cold about the numbers. So you fall in love with him. Then you still turn around and give $100 million guaranteed to Kirk Cousins, plus more if a few things are met and he ends up playing a few more years for you, to then play quarterback. Then you want to tell me that you need a backup quarterback? Okay, fine. But you're paying your backup quarterback kind of top dollar for a backup quarterback, a guy that's never even actually played backup quarterback. You're causing dissension in your room. And then the only other explanation is that your owner just came in and big-footed everybody and said, no, I want Kirk Cousins. That can't be good for anybody in the building either. So Atlanta Falcons, my goodness, I have zero idea what you're doing. Mr. Williams, do you have any idea what the Falcons are doing?
No, I mean, I don't know what Terry Fontenot, the GM, was doing in the offseason. Like you said, you just gave Cousins $100 million guaranteed. He's talking about sitting Penix for 4 to 5 years. Like, what are you talking about? He'll be 28 by then. There's no chance he's sitting for 4 years. Like, this dude played in the national championship game. He's ready to go right now. And I want to say, like, we love Penix as a player. We just don't understand why the Falcons took him at 8. I mean, the purpose of picking a quarterback in round 1 is to have that guy on a rookie contract for 5 years so that you build up the rest of the team. The Falcons D was 29th in forcing turnovers last year. Why? Because they can't rush the passer. And with the top 10 pick, they could have gotten anybody on the defensive side of the ball they wanted. Murphy, Latu, Turner, Verse, any of them. If you're going to take Penix at 8, then take that $90 million and give it to somebody that can rush the quarterback. I mean, like, it's not rocket science here. Like, what are we doing here? It's terrible draft capital by the Falcons. I mean, maybe that's why this organization has went 7-10 for 3 straight years.
Yep, Rod forgot to push unmute his mute button again. But let me tell you something. Let me tell you why Atlanta did what they did. All right, how many quarterbacks started in the NFL last year, and then how many quarterbacks played NFL games last year? I believe it was somewhere around 65 NFL quarterbacks played NFL games last year. There is a issue with quarterbacks being durable in the NFL, which means a lot of teams will be looking for quarterbacks. Maybe playoff teams that are wanting to keep their season alive that may be calling Atlanta, being like, "Hey, what are you willing to give up Kirk Cousins for? Or what are you willing to give up Michael Penix for? We can give you a lot more than what it is." I mean, I get it. Maybe it's not ideal now, but I'm telling you, it may be worthwhile in the future.
So you're saying that quarterbacks aren't durable. So the Falcons are like, I know what I'm going to do. Let me sign a 36-year-old quarterback who is coming off a season-ending surgery, and we're not entirely sure how he might be at the beginning of the season. And just to double down, let me go ahead and draft an older college quarterback who has nothing but a spotted medical history as well, who was basically forced out of Indiana with 2 knee injuries. So I don't know, Chris. I mean, I think you're grasping at straws here, bud.
Maybe. Listen, I've never been known to pick well when it comes to quarterbacks coming out of the draft. I said Ryan Leaf before Peyton Manning. I said Tua would end up being better than Joe Burrow. All right, I'm not good at picking quarterbacks because I still think Michael Penix is probably going to be the best quarterback out of this draft class.
Well, that's fine, but it's going to be a messy situation in Atlanta anytime before we see that. So good luck to all of our Atlanta listeners. It's been a tough day for Atlanta on the pod here. They took some heat in the basketball episode. Now they're taking some heat here in the football portion. Rough day for our Georgians. Sorry about that. Williams, let's talk about a team who did rather well on the draft, not named your Chicago Bears.
Yeah, I really love what Arizona has done, not just last year, but the last 2 years, really. They had 7 picks in the top 100. They get Marvin Harrison Jr. Everyone thought that they were going to trade back, but they're like, we're just going to do the most common sense thing here and take, maybe one of the best wide receivers we've seen in the draft in the last 10, 15 years. We're just going to take him. And then let's get stat nerdy here. It's been a while, right? Elijah Jones, 3rd round, cornerback from BC. Check this out. His route-adjusted ball hawking rate was 83% above expected over the last 2 years. At the combine, he had 31-inch arms and a 42-inch vert. This dude is awesome. I know nobody knows who the hell this Elijah Jones kid is, but he's going to be an awesome corner for Arizona. They filled needs without reaching, so that was always good. And then the Steelers and the Ravens, both really good drafts. The Ravens consistently let guys fall in their lap, and they just scooped them up. TJ Tampa, great value corner there. They got in the 4th, and Steelers got 2 really good offensive linemen. They also got Peyton Willis, a linebacker, who was a steal. So those guys.
Did you say Peyton Hillis?
Peyton Willis.
Oh, I was excited there. I love me some Peyton Hillis back in the day. Mad cover boy, white boy running the pill.
But yeah, those teams had a good draft. Also, Philly. I know Chris doesn't want to hear this, but Philly, Howie Roseman just continues to tear it up. They're also a team that they just let other teams. They let other GMs think that they know what they're doing. The other teams trade up to get a 4th round prospect while you accumulate additional future picks. They got Johnny Wilson at 6, a huge steal there. So yeah, the Eagles did well also.
Oh, Chris, the Eagles did well. That's not good news for your Cowboys.
Listen, some of the worst things that I have to deal with every year during this period of time is the Eagles and the Steelers doing well during the draft day, all right? I hate both those teams. And, of course, according to Next Gen Stats, the Steelers have the most athletic draft class of any NFL team. So, I mean, they just seem to get these guys that fall into their lap. And then I got to watch Dallas do things that are dumb and then even dumber things after the draft, like re-sign Zeke. So like it's all kinds of like maddening and upsetting to me. All right. So thank you, Williams, for rubbing that in some more.
Well, can it all be tracked back to when the Cowboys lost Zeke? It went bad for him. I mean, can't we just get the gang back together with him coming back to the team, Chris? I mean,
no.
All right. I mean, I'd hope you'd be excited about that. But something I know you're excited about, something that our fans have been wanting to hear, the Indianapolis Colts. And Williams, we talked a little bit about it, how there was an explosion of offensive players at the beginning of the draft, 14 straight to be exact. So the Colts, my Colts, are sitting there. Any defensive player, any. Again, Williams, I'm stressing, any defensive player is available for the Colts. Any edge rusher, any defensive tackle, any cornerback, any linebacker, any one of them is sitting there for him. And the Colts take a guy who was told to medically retire 2 years ago. Williams, make it make sense for me.
I mean, when this guy's healthy, he's awesome, and I'm hoping that he can stay healthy for you guys. And because it's been a while since the Colts have had a legit pass rush, maybe Dwight Freeney, but
Steve Entman. We're talking going back to Steve Entman this year, Williams. I'm worried about that. That's what I'm worried about.
Yeah, this defensive class wasn't like a stellar defensive class, so I kind of like it. That kind of pairs up with what they drafted in Anthony Richardson last year. They're going for extreme high upside here, man, and injuries be damned. You know, if it works out, they're going to look like geniuses. If it doesn't, well, they're not. But I love the talent level that they're accumulating. We talked about the second round pick, the wide receiver out of Texas. He did not interview very well. That's why he slipped. But man, this gets them a deep threat. They can hopefully take the lid off the field here, and this Colts offense all of a sudden is dangerous. You pair them up with Pittman and JT, and then Richardson out in the open, and this Colts team could be dangerous next year.
They did what we needed to do, Rod.
Okay.
They got wide receiver help and they got offensive line help, and then they addressed some needs at defense, even if it may have been a little bit more risky. But they did what we needed them to do.
Okay, let me ask you this. Does Chris Ballard just seem more authoritative now with his hair just flowing there at the podium, just kind of tucked in nicely behind his ears, just a little bit above his shoulders there, a little bit of curl kind of pulled back over the forehead? And anybody else who just looks authoritative with that kind of hair, Chris?
You're going to ask the bald guy to give an opinion about somebody's hair?
But you podcast with somebody that has hair an awful lot like Chris Ballard every week, Chris. That's what I'm going for here.
Yeah, I know, and I'm refusing to acknowledge the existence of your hair because you toss it around in my face every day.
Well, listen, we've often spoke that the guys down in Indianapolis listened to this podcast and they made some moves that I told them to make. Now it is clear that they watch our video episodes, which are now available for you on YouTube. And Chris Ballard has taken my hair. But Mr. Williams, you know what he definitely hasn't taken from me? My use of non-curse words, because he was dropping a bunch of them there when he was talking about A.D. Mitchell.
Yeah, he rattled off like 7 of them in like 30 seconds, and then he's like, "I'm sorry," and then he's like, "No, I'm not sorry, really."
All right, let's have some more fun making fun of other teams. Is there another team that was bad on draft day, not named the Atlanta Falcons?
Yeah, I don't know about Cincy's draft, man. They took some boom bust selections after round 1, that some developmental guys. I'm not sure anyone really helps them now, and they're in win now mode because they're only going to have T. Higgins for another year. I mean, Mims and Jenkins probably won't start till year 2, and Burton really wasn't that great at Bama, so it seemed like to me a little too risky. And I hate to say this, but the Niners. The Niners drafted all 5 or 6 year players in college, and statistically or historically, that's not great. You want to have some really good prospects that are younger. Those tend to pan out more well in the NFL. Lots of busts over the last few years. I think Purdy has saved John Lynch over the past couple of drafts, because if you really dig in, there's a lot of misses there.
Trey Lance, anyone not on the team? They gave up a whole lot of capital to get him.
Yeah. I mean, Jacksonville, they needed a quarterback bad, and they passed on a bunch of good ones. It took a wide receiver who I'm not extremely high on, his route running ability, and Thomas, not the greatest. Dallas, I mean, no running backs at all. Chris mentioned it. They didn't take a wide receiver till round 6. I mean, they did re-sign Zeke, but I'm not sure Dallas had the greatest draft either. And then,
But listen, we're
yeah.
ignoring the other elephant in the room when it comes to the Cowboys here. All right, we're talking Dak, right? I mean, Chris, honestly, do you want to play this next year with Dak Prescott basically being able to tell the Cowboys kiss off if he wants to? Because that's where you're at right now.
Do you think Dak Prescott is the biggest problem with Dallas Cowboys organization?
No, but if he leaves, he certainly becomes the biggest problem with the Dallas Cowboys organization.
I mean, no, if he leaves, he's not a problem. Filling that role is a huge problem.
Okay,
but
you know what I mean.
But that falls back on the owner who causes all these messes in the first place.
You mean the GM?
The owner.
So the GM as well. That's the problem in Dallas, is what you're saying.
It's Jerry Jones, and you're welcome, Jimmy, because I came this close to let one slide.
Oh man, Williams. It's gonna be a great year with the Cowboys. Look how fired up he is already.
It's going to be great. And for anybody who doesn't know, the Cowboys don't have Tony Pollard anymore. He went over to the Titans, and so they're just like, we're just gonna re-sign Zeke here, and
it's the definition of insanity. Let's do the same thing over and over and over and over again, and think something different's gonna happen.
Nothing to see here. Let's keep moving. Nothing to see here. All right, Williams, let me ask you about the other two quarterbacks that we haven't mentioned here as we're getting closer to wrapping. Which one do you think we're going to hear more from in year one, Daniels or May?
Oh, I thought you were going to throw Bo Nix in there too.
I suppose, and also McCarthy, I guess we're forgetting about. I think he's probably going to play. He's got an awful lot of good supporting cast around him. So any of the other guys, I suppose.
Yeah, I think Jaden Daniels is going to start from day one. He could possibly make a run for Offensive Player of the Year, Offensive Rookie of the Year, because he's going to have the ball in his hands nonstop. He can run, and Washington did have a pretty decent draft there. Bo Nix, surprisingly, we didn't like the Broncos taking him at 12, but really, Sean Payton thinks that this guy could be the next Drew Brees with his short, accuracy, how well he dinks and dunks the ball, and he's going to be able. Payton's going to be able to control him. So Bo Nix, I didn't love the pick, but he actually might have a decent year just because I think his completion percentage is going to be awesome with Payton. But I don't think May is going to really play until the back half of the year, if at all.
They got my guy Jacoby in New England.
Yeah, and I think he's the most developmental guy out of all 5 or 6 of them. I don't think McCarthy starts right away. I think they'll have the Sam Darnold experience up in Minnesota, but I'm not really sure what Minnesota's doing either. I think they have 3 really good teams in front of them, and I would rebuild totally, but they act like they have 1 foot in and 1 foot out with the rebuild. So.
Wait a minute. Chris, this is insanity out of Williams. He's drinking Bears Kool-Aid here. I mean, we're talking Kevin O'Connell, who's a good play caller, a good head coach. His record as a head coach in 2 years is pretty darn good. They got huge weapons on the outside in Jefferson, and the other guy, his name's escaping me at the time.
Dude, who gives him that ball, though? Who is delivering the ball? Because it's Sam Darnold right now. Do you believe in that?
But
do you
really think Kyle Shanahan let Sam Darnold start a game for him last year? The sainted Kyle Shanahan put his hand on Sam Darnold. That means he's going to be fine.
Yeah, he may be fine for a game, but he's brittle. He'll go down. We know that.
Fine. He goes down, and then in comes J.J. McCarthy, who was put hand on by the sainted Jim Harbaugh, who said J.J. McCarthy's the best quarterback he's ever seen. And we all know Jim Harbaugh's not prone to hyperbole.
It's hard to have a serious conversation with you sometimes.
We're just trying to have fun here on the pod. What I'm basically saying is I'm excited to have the khakis back in the NFL, all right? He drafted the Notre Dame offensive tackle, Joe Alt at number 5, right? Because he's just we're just going to beat the hell out of everybody. Essentially the same thing he did when he came to Stanford and he had to worry about USC and all those big guns. He's coming out to San Diego where nobody gives a crap anyway, and he's going to put together a team of nobodies who knocks the piss out of everybody, isn't he, Williams?
Yeah, it's going to be interesting because, if you just randomly pick a team and you're like, oh, that team's going to smoke the Chargers, I don't know, man. The Chargers are going to control the clock like you have not seen, probably since the 1990s. So if they're able to establish their dominance on the offensive line and have some misdirection and have some bootlegs and have some sweeps and some off tackle runs. Like this team can win 8, 9, dare I say it, maybe even 10 games with Harbaugh in the first year. So, and he's got a long leash because he just signed a long-term contract. So there's no pressure on him at all. And he's going to tell that to his team. Like they're going to play loosey-goosey, and they're not going to care about what anybody says about how many times they run the ball.
Speaking of Joe Alt, I got to do another quick little divergence here. All right. Notre Dame football. Can we settle down? I mean, can we absolutely just settle down about you just draping yourself in glory now, becoming offensive lineman you? I mean, my goodness, Notre Dame Twitter, can you just relax about how you guys are like literally the only blue ribbon you can place on your program anymore is how many huge offensive linemen you're sending into the NFL in the top 10. Wow. Congratulations, Golden Domers. What's it doing for you? Absolutely nothing. Absolutely nothing. Notre Dame is offensive lineman you, and wow, exciting football. You win BCS games by recruiting offensive linemen. Congratulations, Notre Dame.
You got to throw tight end you in there also.
For somebody who doesn't like or care about college football, wow.
I live here, though, Chris. I live here right in the belly of the beast, right? Like literally every person that I work with, or like the only local sports
And
talk
you
radio
mentioned
show.
Twitter, which you don't have to pay attention to.
But I'm addicted to Twitter, formerly known as X, or now currently known as X, whatever. I don't tweet out any of my own thoughts, but I'm on there all the time reading other people's. You guys got nothing on Notre Dame? See, Williams is a Notre Dame fan. He doesn't want to participate in the bashing. I get it.
I have no interest in what your opinion is about college football.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I don't care.
Maybe I don't have any interest in your opinions for anything the rest of the podcast now. Maybe we're just gonna go now because you said that. Maybe now we're just going to wrap it up. Maybe I had another great question I was going to ask Williams. Maybe I was even going to deign to ask you another question, but because you decided to be so snippy there, old man, maybe we're just going to end.
Derby time.
No, it's not derby time yet. It's not derby time yet. I'm the host. You're not driving this thing. Do you want to take over? Do you want to take over and ask all the questions and come up with the transitions?
It's your pod.
You're an assistant pimp. You come from a long line of assistant pimps. You're supposed to be co-signing to the things that I say.
Right? I knew you was the chosen one.
Thank you. No, Chris, you are right. Let's go to the Kentucky Derby. We are going to have Nikki V, our horse expert, is going to come on with a little bonus here at the end of the podcast. But Mr. Williams, we know that you're a betting man. You're not deep in the horse markets, but you, like everybody else, has an interest in the Kentucky Derby. What nuggets you got for us?
Yeah, what I found interesting is that not one of these horses in this field has ever ran a 1.25 mile race before. So breeding matters here. Encino being scratched was a bummer. That horse drew the 9-hole.
Who else was really bummed out by that? Pauly Shore. Totally bummed out that Encino was bumped.
Brandon Frazier, yes. Good starting spot. It was a good starting spot, and it was carrying momentum in, but like went out for a jog earlier in the week and suffered a leg injury. So unfortunately for trainer Brad Cox there with Encino, I do think the horse that is replacing Encino has a chance for like a top 4, top 5 finish. That's Epic Ride. It's going to be starting from the 21st position, which isn't ideal, but this horse isn't like some run-of-the-mill replacement. Epic Ride has some good finishes on its resume. But if there's a horse that's going to win the Triple Crown this year, it's going to be Fierceness. He's the favorite, less than 2-1 right now. And he was starting from the 17 post, but with that scratch, he'll start with the 16. He dominated the Florida Derby recently, but he hasn't been consistent. But he is a legitimate stud of a horse. If you look at metrics, like daily racing form, you look at time form, you look at 3 separate metrics, all to grade horse performance in a race. All of them have Fierceness about 5 to 10% better than anyone else in this field. So I know that this is the 150th running of the Kentucky Derby, and someone's going to say, "But Rod, there's never been a winner from the 17 posts in 149 tries." First off, there's only been a horse in the 17 post 44 times, so let's start there. Secondly, there used to be an auxiliary gate, and the 17 post was outside the main Derby gate in this outer gate, so that wasn't very nice or beneficial. And third, only 2 favorites have ever broken from the 17th gate or 17th post, and one of them was a smaller filly. So, like I said, he technically isn't starting from the 17th post because now he's going to be starting from the 16th post. So, Fierceness is a legit favorite here on Saturday.
favorites have won 6 out of the last 11 years as well at the Derby. So, I mean, we're just getting better and better at naming these horses ahead of time, the ones to really look out for. But it's no fun to bet the favorite, but Williams knows what he's talking about right there. So, you talked about a lot of those numbers. The buyer speed figure numbers on the Japanese horse are absolutely off the charts, right? And a Japanese horse has never, ever won. But I look for that horse starting in the 10 gate to be something to deal with. And so I like your call of Epic Ride as well, Williams, because I think there's going to be a juggle of a bunch of stuff in the middle, and a horse may be able to hit that inside post, or a horse may be able to sneak in from the outside. So you never know. All right, Chris, I'm going to give my pick when I'm done talking to old Nicky V. So the time has come. Who is the old man going with?
If I'm putting money down, there's 2 horses I'm putting my money down, and I'm going to throw a third one in there just so we can do the whole trifecta. All right. All right, and I will say this too: there are some great horse names on this list. All right, but let's go with who's going to win. This is an inside horse coming out of the 3 post. That is Mystic Dan, 20-1 long shot. He's going to pay out. Coming in second is right beside him. A place that is near and dear to my heart. I've had family members go there and do missionary work. That is Sierra Leone, a favorite at 3-1. Not quite as favored as Fierceness, but coming out of the number 2 post, that's a big spot. And I am actually going to take another long shot. I thought this was the only Japanese horse. I guess there's 2, but this is T.O. Password. 30-1.
T.O. Password, 30-1 shot, huh? So Chris going with the cool names, right? That's fun. Old Nicky V's got a nice little tip of a thing that you can do about horse names. My particular favorite name is Track Phantom. I love Track Phantom.
That's a good one.
Williams, what do you got for us on Sierra Leone? Chris is right. That's probably the number 2 favorite, right?
Well, it is, but I don't love the starting post from Sierra Leone. Like, he's a great closer, but since he's starting from the 2 post, he's going to get squeezed right from the start, and I don't see him passing like 19 other horses on the backstretch. I got a note for Chris's other horse. The number 3 horse, Mystic Dan, has the 3rd best speed score in the field at an individual track, but that was a mud track. Some would say his mudder was a mudder. So just keep this in mind. If we have weather, Mystic Dan could come into play here. My sneaky pick, long shot, Domestic Product. He's been able to close in 2 slow paces. He's had to weave through traffic in his previous races. And when you pair the trainer and Chad Brown with the jockey, Irad Ortiz, he was an experienced jockey, you have an interesting long shot with the 15 Domestic Product. So
another great name for a horse.
Yeah. So
you're all about commerce. You're so all about commerce that you would love Domestic Product. What are you talking about over there, Mr. Anarchy? You don't care about Domestic Product. Get out of here.
Yeah, and that's the other Chad Brown horse. So he's been training real well. Reports are he's been giving like Sierra Leone like everything it can handle when training together. So interesting thing there. And then one more thing on I don't think we mentioned this horse yet. The number 4 horse, Catching Freedom. There's a lot of sharps that like this horse.
Our guy Nicky V coming up next likes him.
Yeah, this jockey has been in the Derby 6 times. He's finished in the money 5 times, 3/3, a second, and a win. Flavian Pratt. I mean, you can't go wrong with a name like Flavian Pratt, right?
Flavian Pratt. Yeah, there's only like 4 jockeys in the whole entire field that like have experience. Like 11 of them are racing in their first or their second Derby. It's incredibly weird this time around. So, all right, there we go. Williams, you proved once again why you are the man. Nuggets on the Derby, Nuggets on the draft. We will have you back here soon, I guess, right? We'll start unveiling some preseason stuff, right? We'll kind of start coming out. We'll be teasing a few things ahead of camp here before you know it, right, Mr. Williams?
Yes, and I have one NBA nugget for you guys.
Look out.
How about this? James Harden now has the most playoff games ever from a player where he shot worse than 20%.
Wow. There you go. I love that. Williams giving a James Harden stray on the way out. That's great stuff.
First time in NBA history, three different 9-time All-Stars shot worse than 33% in the field last night. Russell, Harden, and George. Good God. What
That
are the
game was
Clippers doing?
ugly. That game was ugly. I think the Clippers gave up. Chris and I talked about that in the first segment.
Going to Galveston.
Yep, they sure are. All right, Chris. Yeah. We did it. We talked NBA without Jimmy. We it wasn't officially a fast break, but we did it. Our guy Williams was back. We had Dak Storm on in the Pacers glee. Pretty good without Jimmy here to keep track of everything. What do you think?
Yeah, and I really missed it because he would have been ecstatic tonight with the Pacers clinching the series against Milwaukee.
That's actually why he couldn't join us tonight. Jimmy is on a complete bender. He's already called in from work tomorrow. He's painted himself up in gold and blue. He's running around the streets of Indianapolis.
Yeah. He made a mistake. I think he used lead paint there, Rod. I think his speech did a little bit.
I know. He watched Seinfeld before too. You think he would have learned his lesson after what happened to Putty, but he never did. What are you going to do? All right, so we're going to end the podcast now here with Chris's trademark ending, but actually don't leave because after Chris does his trademark ending, I'm going to come back with our guy, Nick Venice.
Goodbye, Internet.
All right, you have heard all of the rest of us give our Kentucky Derby picks. We all just love the Kentucky Derby, so we take our shot at it, but we don't know what we are talking about, so we're going to bring on someone who knows a little bit more than us. We're not gonna put this gentleman in the box of saying that he's an expert, but he certainly knows more about putting some numbers down on the horses than we do. He's joined us in the past to give us his Derby picks. He is looking the absolute part this year in his seersucker jacket. Nick Venice, aka Nicky V. Nick, hello.
What's up, buddy? What's up, man? Hey, look, the jacket still fits, so barely.
You look wonderful. You look like you are ready to celebrate the first Saturday in May, the 150th running of the Kentucky Derby. 150. That for me is one of the things that's so cool. It's been around for so long.
I know. I think when I started in the horse racing, 2004, so I was probably the 130th Kentucky Derby. So yeah, it's been 20 years, man.
There you go. That's the Mrs. Morgan year as well. She said it was exactly 20 derbies ago for her. So how about that? Now this year, speaking of 30, right?
Yeah.
$130, Nikki. $130 just to get you into the infield this year at Churchill Downs. I mean, are we losing a little bit of the common man of horse racing here with those kind of prices?
Yeah. Dude, costs are going up everywhere, man. It doesn't surprise me. How much was it when
Kate said she paid $50. She paid $50 that year when she went.
I didn't have the luxury. So when I was in the horse racing industry, I never got to go to the Derby because that was our Super Bowl, right? So I worked in the Chicago racetracks, Super Bowl, I couldn't go. Indianapolis, Super Bowl, couldn't go. But I mean, we have great Derby parties, but I've never gotten a chance to go to the actual Kentucky Derby. It's killing me.
I've never been to the Derby. I was there for Oaks Day, right? The Phillies runs the day before actual Kentucky Derby Saturday, and so I've been to Churchill Downs, and that was cool. But I've never been to the Derby myself either. So one of these years we're gonna go. I'm gonna get you in that seersucker. I'll get me in a seersucker, and we'll go.
We'll go, but we're gonna keep it classy. Would you still consider the infield, or would you try to?
Oh no! I mean, if they're charging 130 for the infield, why not just up it and go sit in one of the boxes at this point? You know what I mean? Do it right.
Get a mint julep.
$22 for a mint julep this year. Speaking of prices, $22. You got to pay $14 for a black cherry white claw.
$22 for a mint julep.
Yeah, $14 for a black cherry white claw. Ridiculous. Let's move on. All right, let's move on. Posts 5 and 10 have proven to be the best posts since 1940 when the Derby first introduced the gate. So post position always big when it comes to the Derby. Also, trainers, previous horses. Nikki, what do you look at the most? Does post position mean it all for you, or are you more of a jockey previous record?
Yeah, I mean, probably a little bit of both. I mean, I look at the jockey, I look at the trainers, but look, man, these are the best jockeys in the world. You got the best trainers. Post position is really important. You mentioned 5 and 10. I mean, I don't see it this year with these horses, but I'm looking at the
favorites running out of the 17. The favorites running out of the 17, right? Which they say is a bad post, but they don't seem worried about it.
You got the second favorite running out of the 2 position. I mean, that's going to dictate. I don't see much action with the middle. You know what I mean? But I see the winners. I see the top finishers coming from the inside outside in this race.
Ooh,
But yeah,
okay.
I
My
look
horse
at a combination of things. I look at like closers, like speed ratings and stuff like that. If they get jump off the gun first, if they're going to set the pace or not, or they're going to stalk or whatever. But you got 20 horses. It's mayhem anyways.
All right, one last thing I want to ask you about. We have jockey. His last name is Velasquez. His first name's escaping me. He has
Three-time Derby
three.
winner, man.
Yeah, exactly. That's what I was getting to. He has 3 Derby wins, which is as many as the entire rest of the field, including 11 jockeys who have never raced in it before or only raced in it once. Do you think that's going to matter?
Oh heck yeah, it's gonna matter. And I think he is on. He was on. If I'm
He's
looking
on
at
the 17. He's on the favorite,
yeah,
I believe.
so yeah, he's on the 17, the 19 Resilience. I think that's a good horse. I think he can ride the coattails of 17, but he rode that horse as well the last 3 races, and he decided to go obviously with the favorite. But I mean, yeah, the 19, but yeah, the jockey, 3-time Derby winner. Yeah, you have to look at that.
Also, 6 out of the last Derby favorites have come in the winner. If we get this year's favorite coming in, it'll be 7 out of the last 12. So, I mean, if you've been labeled as the horse to beat, you've had a good run recently.
Well, yeah, I mean, they say the winner wins 33% of the times. That's what the stats show us is that. But heck, I think we handicapped that race 2 years ago. Remember that?
We sure
80
did.
to 1.
We sure did. Exactly. Yeah, we definitely made that call. All right,
Yeah,
here's the
that was horrible.
last thing I got for you. All right, here's the last thing I got for you. If I'm just giving you a horse off of just the best name, right? We always talk about great horse racing names. If we all owned a horse race, we all
Absolutely.
have our name that we would call it. For me, this year, the horse is a 20 to 1, so he's not a complete long shot, but he doesn't have great odds. I love Track Phantom. That's my favorite
Track
horse name this year. What do you got?
So I don't know if I told you this, but how I pick names is I'll say the name and say between the sheets. And right now,
Ah,
I think Forever Young between the sheets or Just Steel between the sheets. Those are my
Forever
2.
Young.
Forever Young between the sheets, baby.
All right, Forever Young. That's the Japanese horse. You mentioned
That's the
speed figures
Japanese.
earlier. He's got huge speed figure numbers, but we haven't had much luck out of a Japanese horse. Does that scare you?
I know he's undefeated. I mean, if we're gonna pick any, horse, I think we picked a few last time, but yeah, they just don't have the best of luck. But he's undefeated. You just don't know. He's 5-0, right? So, and he's
All right, well, let's go here. Let's go here then. Let's start getting down to the brass tacks here. What are you going to play? What's Nikki V going to play? What's something you're looking at right now? You're saying, boom, as soon as I get to the window, this one I'm putting down.
Man, I'm gonna do a 5-horse exacta box.
Okay.
Right? 5 horses. Doesn't matter which order. Top 2's got to finish, correct? So if I was gonna pick 2-horse, 4-horse, Catching Freedom. Keep going down here. I gotta throw in the Japanese horse, Forever Young, and then I'm gonna go outside, right? So I'm gonna
Okay.
pick 19
All right.
Resilience and 17 Fierceness. I'm
You're
gonna
going to
pick
put the
those
favorite in
5
there.
horses and box them in. Yeah, because look, even if it comes chalk, you're gonna make money. This is a $20 bet.
Okay.
It comes first, second, just because of the amounts of money coming into everyone's gonna bet their birth dates. I mean, the money's gonna be all over the place in these pools, especially in the exotics. So, yeah, dude, chalk would still pay you probably $20. You'll break even on that. Maybe make a little more, but I'm hoping for the longer shots to come in.
Nice. Okay, so if we're talking a few longer shots, who do you like as far as those?
Resilience. I do like Resilience. Let's see. He won the Wood Memorial last time out. Huge speed figure, and this is when John Velasquez was on him, right? So he had to pick between 2 horses, and he picked Fierceness. But this horse right here with Junior Alvarez, I think he's got a shot. And if he can ride the coattails of John, he can be in there. But he's 20 to 1 morning line.
Nice.
And let's see here. I'm looking. What did I say? What's 4? Catching Freedom at 8 to 1.
Yep.
I would consider that a kind of a long shot, right?
Sure.
I mean, he's won his
I think my
last race.
horse that I like is 8-1. The horse that I like is 8-1.
Which one's that?
I like just a touch. I like the 8 horse, right? I like his trainer. That guy's done good work before. I like the
Yeah,
jockey. That guy knows what he's doing. I like the 8 horse.
yeah. I mean, what, 3 starts, and he came second to Sierra Leone,
Mhm.
right? So I mean,
Because I
yeah,
never
he's
like
got.
to bet the favorites, right? I'm never going to pick a favorite. It's no fun to pick a favorite, like you
No,
said, right? You can put down a couple of bucks on a long shot, and if it pays off, you made yourself some money that way.
exactly. That's why I like those exotic bets where you can put 5 horses in there. You can throw the chalk because, like, if the favorite comes in second and your 20-1 shot comes in first, well, that's a payday right there. You know what I mean? So, but yeah, you're absolutely right. I don't like favorites as well.
All right. Well, listen, you gave us the box, you gave us resilience. Let's go down for the official win place show. This isn't a bet. Nobody wants to bet win
One
place show,
horse
but
win play show? Or are you talking
no,
about win? Like,
you tell me. Your Kentucky Derby pick. Who's going to be 1, 2, 3 when the race finishes?
man, I'm gonna say it's gonna be a closer. I'm gonna go. He's got to have the perfect trip. I mean, 20 horses. I think the 2 horse.
Okay, nice. I love it.
Um, let's go 2, 4, and man, 17 for third.
There we go. 17 getting edged out at the end by a closer. I like it. I like your thinking there. You've been mentioning it all pod, right? Is that you love the closing speed. And so essentially what you've just laid out for us here is a horse that you told us about that you're putting in your box, right? He's going to be running there near the top. Resilience, maybe even setting the pace. And then all of a sudden the 2 and the 4 horse come out of nowhere on him and they inch it out at the end.
Absolutely. He's got to have the perfect trip, though. We'll see. That's going to be tough.
If that kind of race unfolds, Nikki V, we will be in for the greatest 2 minutes in sports this Saturday at the Derby. My friend, you got some little ones there in the background. You got great weather behind you. I will let you get back to that. Thank you so much for coming on the pod and dropping some knowledge on us. We appreciate it.
All right. Thanks, brother. We'll talk.
We'll get out on the links here soon, my friend. All right. I'll see you soon.
Take care, buddy.
All right, golf yeah, you sure do. Listen, you're never far from the course, my man. You're never far from the course. I'll talk to you soon.
All right, later.